Yo, happy Wednesday, November 1st, 2023, and welcome to a brand new month and a brand new edition of what we like to call the Clash of the Champions. I am your host, the vegan you believe in, Kurt Cadet, aka Conscious Kurt in the flesh as always, and this man needs no introduction, but fuck it, he will give you one regardless.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is tag team partner, the adventurer himself, Jonathan Randall, at your guys' service. You can follow our podcast on both of our social media platforms on Instagram, thechamps.clash, and on Twitter at thechampsclash. Ladies and gentlemen, Halloween is over. We're in a new month. I could assume that all the kids still have their candy, or most of them probably ate it up from their parents. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're in November already, man. Crazy. This year went by so fast. And what's coming up so fast is this Saturday is Crown Jewel, ladies and gentlemen, in Saudi Arabia. And we have a stacked card on the horizon, ladies and gentlemen. And man, I'm excited for it. And as Kurt, as you like to say, that's Saudi money. But
Sweet Saudi
this card's
money.
looking. That's right, sweet Saudi money. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, today is our prediction show for Crown Jewel. So let's get to it.
Yes, and I thought you were gonna say with November starting, it was the start of Mariah Carey starting to come out of her tomb and start singing that all I
Oh
want for
yes, that
Christmas.
one too. Like, oh, it's too. Yes, look. I'm gonna. I'm gonna speak behalf of myself. Listen, I don't recognize Christmas not till Thanksgiving is over, ladies and gentlemen. I have some respect, okay?
That's fair.
A lot of people, as soon as November starts, oh, Christmas. I'm like, well, damn, you're just gonna skip over Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Sheesh. Is
And
it
if you're
like
gonna
that? I'm not like that.
and straight up, if you're gonna watch any Thanksgiving movie between now and that day, watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That shit is mad dope.
I mean, look, I know I get it. There's not a lot of Thanksgiving, movies or anything like that. I mean, we have Charlie Brown's Thanksgiving, you know what I mean? So, but at the same time, when I think about November, I think about Thanksgiving, I think about football, I think about Survivor Series.
And now I think about this beautiful ass fall weather in Atlanta. That shit is gonna stick with me forever, bro. I think I said this a few weeks ago on the podcast. I don't think I've experienced fall weather anywhere as great as I've experienced it in Atlanta, especially this year, bro. This shit is beautiful.
Nice. Has the weather been getting a little colder? I mean, what's like
As a
average
matter of fact,
like
ever
temperature
since
out there?
last night, it has been dropping the weather. Yeah, like last night, early this morning, and even like early evening, like when I was going out for a walk a few hours ago, I started noticing getting colder. So yeah, it's like getting to that point now. And by next month, ooh, it's a wrap. It's a wrap, son.
I bet. I bet because I think that like this past weekend it started to get colder. So it's been like in the 60s and 50s at night. And I'm like, okay, it's coming. It's already coming.
Yeah.
So and then crazy how this weekend we fall back an hour too. So a lot of changes coming up. And what time is Crown Jewel on Saturday? Just Kirk, you just tell our viewers, please, I mean our listeners.
Crown Jewel will be 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Eastern Standard Time, which will be my time, and 10 o'clock in the morning, your time, Pacific.
Damn. Ooh.
Better set your alarm, buddy.
I will, and then also fall back an hour the next day. So, but yeah, we got a stack card for it, and I'm really looking forward to this card. Very good lineup for this card, Kurt.
Yeah, and I will admit, these Crown Jewel shows, these Saudi shows have gotten better over the last few years.
It has, it has.
They used to suck initially, the first few ones, but the last 2 years especially, they've really stepped up with them. And I think this show will also be a one you can add to that list of good ones they've done over there.
Absolutely. I mean, it's I kind of like lost track of how long they've been doing
Five
these
and a half
shows now.
years.
5, yeah, 5. Wow, that long.
Put it this way,
Well,
the first Saudi show they did was like April of 2018. We were still in that sports media class together. That's how far
yeah,
back they go.
crazy, crazy. Those are good times back then, wasn't it?
Yes, we do have Crown Jewel this coming Saturday from Saudi Arabia. And yes, it is a very stacked ass show. So, John, break down the card so we can give our predictions.
Yes. So for a dark match, so we have Sami Zayn versus JD McDowell. Big Donna. This is a guy who's really trying to get his foot in the door with Judgment Day. So, and that fiery promo that Sami Zayn had this past Monday on Raw, man, holy crap. Sami Zayn is going to win.
I'm not mad at that prediction, but I don't know. I have a feeling JD McDonough's gonna win. I don't know why, but I have a feeling he's gonna win, like by some kind of cheating, outside interference, one or the
Mhm.
other. I just have a feeling that's gonna go down that way.
And let's see for our next match. So we have a singles match for the World Heavyweight Championship. That is between Seth freaking Rollins and Drew McIntyre. And this is one of the matches that I'm looking forward to. Really good build up between the two. I love Drew's his demeanor right now, his change in character as we put it out in our past like couple of episodes about how he's making that tweener, that slow burn, that slow heel turn that he's doing, kind of similar to Diesel back in 1995 after after Survivor Series, as you pointed out, Kurt. So this is a tough one.
Very tough one.
Ooh, yeah. Oh my god, it's like I want to, it's like I want to pick this one, but I was like I want to lean on to the other guy, but I think Seth Rollins retains.
I think it could happen that way also, where Rollins does retain, but then that kind of
I
pushes Drew further over the edge, and then that's what officially leads to him turning heel.
Yeah, and I would extend the storyline.
I think regardless, this is the first match of like a series between the two of them, regardless of who wins. But if you're putting me on the hot seat and telling me to pick a winner, I'm gonna pick Drew McIntyre. I think Drew McIntyre wins the belt and finally gets his moment that he did not get at Clash of the Castle last year or WrestleMania 36. I think he gets it this Saturday.
Okay, okay.
And also one thing I liked was the both segments between the two of them on Raw Monday where they did that pre-taped interview with Drew where he talks about like the fact that like WrestleMania 36 is going to be his big moment, and then the pandemic happened, and then he won the title in front of no fans, and then like his whole title reign was like pretty much in front of no fans, like in a weird ass time. Like during that period, he had to really carry the company, like when it wasn't even certain what was the future was going to be. And then once the fans finally came back, he lost the title. He was out of the title picture. And then Clash of the Castle, he
Yeah.
was going to finally get his chance that he didn't get at WrestleMania, and then the Bloodline interfered, messed everything up for him. And like now, like this match and this event is his opportunity to finally avenge all that and erase that. And Rollins' response to this in his promo was basically, "Cry me a river."
This is kind of like similar to like what Seth and Finn Balor kind of like, look, I won the title and I was on top of my game and but that was taken from me and all. It's kind of similar to that a little bit.
Yeah, but one thing Seth was also saying was the fact that, whoa, boo hoo, you didn't get to win the WWE title in front of no fans. There were people literally who didn't know where their next paycheck was going to come from, or if their family members were going to live after being sick, or if they were going to be able to have enough money to buy groceries. So, bro, you didn't have it that bad. Calm the fuck down. And he also said that, like, yo, a lot of people got screwed by the bloodline. Sami Zayn, and although I don't like him, Cody Rhodes also got screwed by them, but you don't see them complaining about it. You don't see them, boo-hooing about it. He said if Drew does end up beating him, he'll raise his hand and shake his hand afterwards.
Okay, that's a sign of respect, and I like that.
Yeah, but I don't think it's gonna quite happen that way because I think if Drew does win, he's gonna do it kind of underhandedly.
Yeah. Hmm.
But regardless, I've liked this story so far. I've liked this feud, and in all honesty, this is the best feud Seth has had since he's been the champion, and honestly, probably the whole year.
So you think this is his best one? So you won't. So Seth and Finn didn't really. I mean, do you like that one too? Because you're putting this one over Seth and Finn from this past summer?
Yes, I mean, although I did like that feud, also the thing with this one that's the difference is that I felt like in the Finn feud, deep down, he probably wasn't going to win. But in this case with McIntyre, I feel like there's a chance, like a strong chance that Seth could end up losing. So that's why,
I
in a
see what
sense,
you mean.
it's the
I
com-
see
it's the
what you
combination, it's the
Okay.
combination of that and also the tweener thing they're doing with Drew right now that makes it more interesting.
I see what you mean. I was just kind of like I really was hot on the Seth and Finn one because I love the whole was it was 7 year in the making storyline. You know what I mean? That really just like oh my god! Like I love those wrestling storylines where like they have that one match, right? And then about years later down the road they have that rematch and they go back to that first time, so it makes it more personal. So it's kind of like how like Seth Rollins and Edge, you know what I mean, like a SummerSlam, and then they go back to that situation that happened. When that happened, was it 2014 when Seth curb stomp Edge's head? Was 2014, right?
Yeah, well, he threatened to do it if they didn't bring back
Yeah,
the
it was
authorities.
2014.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was 2014. Yeah, so I love when they do stuff like that. It's very rare when we see stuff like that. You have that one match, and then that was it. And then like years later, they meet again, and then they're like they make it personal. They go back. So I was like, oh my god! I was like, this is like I like stuff like that. So but yeah, I am excited for this match. It's one of the matches that I'm looking forward to, and this is our first out of what was it 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 championship matches. We got 5 championship matches on this card. So on to the next championship match, which is for for the women's world championship. We have a fatal 5-way match between Rhea Ripley, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, and Raquel Rodriguez. Wow.
That's what I say when I see Raquel Rodriguez.
Same. All apologies to my girlfriend, but yeah,
And Rhea, too, for that matter.
yeah, they hurt too, and I find Ajax attractive too as well. But whole combination, just crazy how this whole thing started with the return of Ajax. That's how this whole thing imploded, and everybody got involved, rightfully so. But I think Rhea Ripley's going to retain the title.
Yeah, no questions asked. She's pretty much one of the biggest characters on Raw right now. She's pretty much in like multiple
Oh yeah,
segments every week. And
yep.
for the role she's been on throughout this year and how big of a star she's become, especially with the whole Judgment Day thing, she's not losing the title in a freaking 5-way match. No
No,
freaking way, son.
no way. And it's crazy. We kind of like, damn, we kind of like just don't really acknowledge how well Rhea Ripley's been doing, just as far as like being in certain, um, just the amount of work that she's been doing, this all these segments that she's involved in. Like I don't recall another female wrestler that has ever done something close to that. Like I could say China, maybe. Yeah, she was kind of involved in a lot of heavy stuff back then. Like I remember, like leading up to SummerSlam, I was thinking, like, oh my god, they're gonna put her in a title match, and then that whole thing was crazy, dude. And then
Yeah, that SummerSlam was kind of a far cry from 98.
I know, but it's just like I'm just mainly on China, just like she was like almost in the title picture. And then and then she ends up later that year she becomes the first woman to win the Intercontinental title, and it was just like it was a lot of stuff that she was doing. I felt like that 99 year was just like that big peak year for her, you know what I mean? So when I look at Rhea Ripley, it's just like I get
Oh,
it.
no question.
Her title reign hasn't been as really hasn't upheld anything because she really hasn't like done a whole lot as far as title matches and stuff, but it's just like the other work that she's been doing. And I could say this, she's the leader of the Judgment Day. Okay, she's the leader. She's been kind of like been calling the shots as of late. So with the involvement that she's been doing, it's just like I am impressed.
Also because of that, and also the fact that she's the top woman on the whole show. The only one who comes close is Becky. Considering all that, and considering that it's a freaking five-way, no disrespect to the other four women, she's not losing the title under these circumstances. So Rhea Ripley does retain, and I hope she wears that Catwoman outfit that she wore last time.
Oh yeah. She probably
Should look mad
yeah.
cool. I like how far the women's matches have come in the Saudi shows the last few years because I remember in the beginning the women weren't allowed on those shows, period. And now they're like getting 2 matches, 3 matches sometimes on these shows. So it's good to see how far they progressed in that
And
regard.
also, I like how they got more creative with their ring attire over the years.
Yeah, because back then they would only like wear a shirt or something, like a long shirt. But now, like especially with Bianca's outfits, like you could definitely tell like they're stepping it up more with the and being more
Yeah.
creative with the outfits. Like Becky Lynch's Kill Bill outfit at the last one.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah, I remember that one. I need to watch that movie again. So for we have another title match for our next match. This one, as I said this in our last episode. This one is just like wow, how the way this whole thing turned out. You have a boxing match and you call this guy out, and I just like the creativity behind it was just like I've never seen anything like that. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am talking about Logan Paul, and he will be in a match against Rey Mysterio for the United States Championship. You know what? There's gonna be an upset. I think Logan Paul's gonna win.
I agree. The douchebag fuck Logan Paul will somehow find a way to beat Ray, win the U.S. title, and he'll be able to take it with him on all of his different appearances and have it on his little podcast, all that other jazz. So yeah, it'll be like a good way to bring like the U.S. title more into like the mainstream audience. But yeah, somehow he's
Yes.
gonna win by like some kind of fuckery, some kind of outside of interference or something. But yes, I do think Logan Paul does win the U.S. title, and he will hold it until WrestleMania, where he will drop it to somebody I will mention later.
Damn, that long?
It's possible.
Wow.
I mean,
Oof.
look, I'm not really a fan of having like two champions on the same show who aren't there full time. In this case, it would be him, and then I'm also Roman. But I don't hate the idea. It would definitely make people hate the douchebag fuck a lot more, so that's not a bad thing. And
I
then
mean, I'm not
eventually when he
against the
would
fact. Like,
lose
I'm
the
not against.
title, it would
I
be a
mean,
bigger deal.
okay. I mean, I'm not against the fact of him winning. I'm picking him to win, but it's just like, damn, that's like you got to remember November, December, January, February, March, April. That's like literally like 5.5 months. That's a while. That's a
I
while,
mean,
dude.
do you want him to win the belt here and then lose it the next week on SmackDown?
No, not saying for
That
a
would be
week.
pointless.
No, I'm not saying to keep it for a week. Like I'm like a couple of months keep it, but I'm like 5 months. I'm like, damn. Well, there's no telling what will happen though. But regardless, though, I'm picking Logan Paul to win. So
If only Samantha Irvin could make the announcement and use the word douchebag fuck, I'm sure she would be like ecstatic to be able to do that.
oh god.
Because you saw how he was messing with her on Raw last week.
Yeah, I saw that. So on our to our next match, we have a just a normal singles match, and it's between Cody Rhodes and Damian Priest.
And with my surprise, no money in the bank briefcase on the line.
No, it would be. You know what? You're right. It would be interesting if they would put that on the line. They used to do that a long time ago. Well, sometimes, but shoot, I would have. It would make it very more interesting if they did that, but it's not, sadly. And remember, Cody Rhodes' foot got hurt, so it was most likely he's gonna be wearing like a leg brace. My God, it was like the last time he was at at a Saudi show. He was just like he had an arm brace, and now I don't know. I think Damian Priest is gonna win. I think he's gonna expose Cody Rhodes' leg. So yeah, I have Damian Priest winning.
I'm going to disagree. I have Cody Rhodes winning. I feel like he's going to further build his momentum towards WrestleMania. I don't necessarily think he needs to win this match per se, but I think the story with his ankle being hurt will play into the match. But I think that's how Cody's going to kind of overcome the odds and end up pulling it off in the end.
Okay.
That's kind of where I see it going because I feel like throughout this whole year, like Cody always always plays like the underdog role and like the role of the person who has to like overcome adversity, overcome an injury. Like that pretty much happened throughout his whole Brock feud, and now it's happening now with the Damian Priest feud. So I think Cody will probably end up winning. It's possible there could be some Judgment Day shenanigans that could backfire, kind of like what happened at Fastlane last month when they lost the tag title. So I could see that happening, and yeah, I think Cody will probably pull it off.
Right. I see what you mean. Okay. And our next match. This is an interesting one. I wasn't expecting this one, but John Cena versus Solo Sikoa. Wow. Told you, I love this card, dude.
And it's so crazy. John Cena has not won a singles match since the very first Saudi show back in 2018, the Greatest Royal Rumble one.
Dude. Yeah. And he mentioned that about a couple weeks ago. So I think John Cena wins. I think that's part of the reason why they booked him on this card. So I have John Cena winning.
I believe he will win too because they're really playing into that story that he hasn't won a match, and they said like 2,002 days or whatever it was. And yeah, considering that they're bringing that up so much, I think it's
Yeah.
a given that he's going to win. Solo loses nothing by losing to Cena
Yeah.
at this show, so it's all good. Cena will get his big win. It'll be a cool moment. I fucks with it. But I think this is Cena's last appearance for this run.
Yeah.
So back to Hollywood he goes.
I know, but like, look, we kind of, again, dude, like all his appearances on SmackDown, dude, can't take that for granted, man. That was just, don't take stuff like that for granted, dude. Don't. That's why, that is why that I easily made that comparison to him with him to LeBron James, because I'm telling you right now, dude, I kid you not, bank on it. Hear me out. The moment when LeBron James retires from the game of basketball, I'm telling you right now, every fan, even, well, of course, if you're a supporter, but if you were a LeBron hater, I'm telling you right now, they're gonna be like, you know what? Damn it, I actually missed him. Despite of him so calling, the flopping and, crying to the refs and all that stuff. And, oh, I, jumped to these different teams and all that stuff. At the end of the day, the guy was a damn good basketball player. So I'm going to end up missing him. I guarantee you that's going to happen, dude. Because that's the same thing with John Cena. At a certain point, he had his haters, he had his followers, but at the end of the day, when he was gone, dude, everybody was like, "Damn it, I miss him," you know. And this pretty much like that whole month of like September and October when he was making these appearances on SmackDown, we're just like, we cannot take this for granted. We can't. So I'm gonna watch this match with pure joy and just kind of like, because it's a bit sad, because it's like I look back at his matches from back in the day when we were growing up and we were just like, you never think about, oh, it's gonna end, but it end. You look back, it's like, I can't believe like it's over, because it felt like this was just yesterday. It felt like I just saw this guy wrestle yesterday and now it's all over. Don't take things for granted. Just don't.
Yes, so let's cherish this match this coming Saturday between Cena and Solo, which Cena will more than likely win. And yes, this will be the end of John Cena's run as he goes back to Hollywood. But it's been a fun one. I have enjoyed it.
That was kind of like my little fire hot take of the night, ladies and gentlemen, because I just got like, damn, I just like, whenever I see highlights of John Cena, from like a few years ago, or not even a few years ago, like 10 years ago, I just look back and I'm just like, oh my god, it felt like it was just yesterday, and I felt like I kind of took this for granted a little bit in a way,
And you know what's been getting a lot of love online lately? Like one of his runs that gets a lot of love was that 2015 US title run.
That was very underrated. Because of that run, Kevin Owens came into the picture.
Yes, he did during that run. And I watched this list that was ranking like the 10 best US champions of all time from like every promotion. And Cena's 2015 run was ranked number one.
I agree. It
Yeah,
was.
but that's including like Ric Flair in the late '70s and Lex Luger in the late '80s, and also Rick Rude's one run in '92, like when he was a part of the Dangerous Alliance. That run was like very well received. Like him and that title were kind of synonymous with each other, like during that time.
Mm,
I would say more than the IC title was for him, but that's another
I
story.
see. I see.
Cena was definitely somebody I took for granted, and he's definitely somebody I've grown to appreciate more as I've gotten older. And it'll be fun to watch him this Saturday get that win that he hasn't gotten in 5.5 years. And I look forward to seeing whatever Hollywood projects he does going forward, especially the next season of Peacemaker.
Oh yes, same here. I still gotta watch that show. So on to our next match. So we have a singles match for the WWE Women's Championship that is between Io Sky versus Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair made a surprising return to SmackDown a couple weeks ago, and then she issues a challenge to Io Sky for the Women's Championship. Ooh, very interesting. Look, despite Bianca Belair coming back, I think Io Sky needs to be taken more serious as a champion. And the only way that could happen, she gets a win over Bianca Belair, especially a person like that.
Hey, I will admit her reign's gotten better the last few weeks. Like she's had some credible wins, like the one in the triple threat at the last pay-per-view, and also the win over Charlotte 2 weeks ago where Bianca came back to save Charlotte after the attack. So yeah, her title reign is getting better. So in that sense, I could see her retaining also. I probably because of maybe Charlotte interfering and costing Bianca the match. But if this is anything like their match was at Backlash in Puerto Rico, holy shit, are we in for a good one, son?
Yeah. So who are you picking?
I would say EO retains, but yeah, regardless, I just hope this match is every bit as good as that one from Backlash, if not better. Because damn, bro, that might be one of the best matches either one of them had the whole year. Maybe until Saturday, if they can prove us wrong. And this will be dope. This is Bianca's like first major match back since SummerSlam. But I don't think she gets the title back right now. I think Io retains somehow. I'm not sure how, but I think Io retains and holds the belt for a little longer. And it could possibly lead to a Bianca heel turn.
You think she's still turning heel?
I'm not gonna say that it won't happen. I'm not saying it will, but I'm not gonna rule it out. It could definitely still happen.
Okay.
Especially with the Street Profits and what they're doing lately, she could definitely be an addition to that stable. I could definitely see that possibly happening.
I see.
But then again, have heard those stories that she doesn't want to do it because of because of her connection with little kids and her little kid fan base. So I get that, and also the merchandise
That's the
obviously
reason.
goes without saying.
Well, I mean, well, that's the reason why they didn't turn John Cena heel. So,
Yeah, but as much of a big star as he was and all that, and as much as the little kids liked him, they should have at least done it once. There was at least like one time in that however many years he was on top, they should have done it. And even if it wasn't for long, even if it was only for a couple months, I felt like it would have done good for him. But they just never went with it.
I kid you not, Kurt. I really thought he was going to turn heel in 2012, like leading in a run leading up to WrestleMania with The Rock. I
He was supposed
I
to.
felt it. I felt it.
He was supposed to, but they inked some deal with Toys R Us and got this big ass like endorsement, so they couldn't. It was gonna cost them too much money, so that's why they didn't turn him heel
Mm-hmm.
during that time because he had this like this big ass endorsement.
Money talks.
Money talks, bro.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why they kept that spinner belt, which I hated. But yeah, anyway,
I'm gonna get that for you for Christmas.
yeah, hell no.
Spinner belt. I ride spinners. I ride spinners.
I'm telling you, that belt overstayed its welcome. My God. But anyway, so finally on our last match of the night. Oh my God, I can't wait for this one. For the undisputed Universal Championship, it is between Roman Reigns and LA Knight. I love that segment, that contract signing that they had last week on SmackDown. Very creative and very
Yeah, it was
genius and
crazy.
hilarious at the same time. Roman Reigns make his grand entrance as always, but literally in the middle of his entrance, LA Knight interrupts coming out to the ring. I said to myself, mind games. Straight up mind games. He not only did he interrupt Roman's entrance, he even sits at the head of the table, Kurt. Wow. First come, first serve, as I say. Dude, I just love that.
I feel like LA Knight moving into the bloodline and like moving into the bloodline's house would make a good sitcom idea.
Oh god.
The LA Knight Prince of Bel Air.
Oh. But man, I love that segment, and just again, it was just the mind games, just making the match more serious, and just getting us the fans to like really just gear into this match, and I absolutely love it. I love the fact that LA Knight's been pushed in this spotlight, and he's handling it so well. I love it. But with all due respect to LA Knight, they're not going to have him win, sadly. But Roman Reigns is going to retain. But I think it's going to be a good match.
I think it'll be fun. It'll be Roman's first match since SummerSlam. About fucking time.
Oh.
But
wow. Yeah, you're right. It's been that long. And we're in November.
bro,
Damn.
you talk about Cena's spinner belt overstaying its welcome. Roman's title reign is now overstaying its welcome.
Oh.
It's getting to that point now.
Yeah. And you know what's another thing that I found out? I think it was last week. He's not scheduled to be at Survivor Series. He's not going to have another match not till Royal Rumble.
Wow.
Ain't that something?
I mean, look, I probably wasn't expecting him to defend the title at Survivor Series because of the whole War Games thing. But still, bro, like the more time goes on, the more you see it was a mistake that he retained at WrestleMania.
Ooh, I'm telling you right now, man. Look. All I'm saying is that for next year, better be all worth it. But at the same time, I'm gonna feel. Here's the thing, like, granted, I am truly thankful that I was part of WrestleMania earlier this year, and I finally got to go to one. But at the same time, if Cody Rhodes defeats Roman Reigns at WrestleMania next year, a part of me is going to feel like a little bit, well, damn, I wish I was part of that. I wish that would have happened, the year prior.
Yeah, B's like that. That's how I felt when the Undertaker streak ended. They have 5 more months to make it worth it. They have 5 more months to prove us wrong.
Well, I'm sorry, they already started off on the right track about a few weeks ago with that face to face between Cody and Roman. So they already started off on the right foot. All I'm saying is they better finish strong.
I even said this after WrestleMania in our review of the show. They better have a damn good backup plan and a damn good story to make up for what happened at WrestleMania. Because if they don't and they don't pay it off the right way, then doing it that way at WrestleMania was for nothing. It was for nothing.
Right.
This is going to be Roman's second title defense since WrestleMania, and that was 7 months ago.
Right. I mean, I don't want to hear this crap about, they want to pass such and such record. Like, that doesn't matter to me. You have not been
Enough with that shit
title
already.
as much.
Enough with that shit already.
You pass all these records and all that stuff. You even pass Bruno. Didn't he pass like Bruno Sammartino's record?
Like Bruno Sammartino's first record as champion, was 8 years, so he maybe surpassed his second run. His second run wasn't as long, so he probably surpassed that one.
Okay.
He has like another year or so, or like less than a year, until he would surpass Hogan's run in the 80s, which I'm not trying to see happen. No, thank you.
Oh.
He's broken enough records. He's like made enough history. He's had that title long enough, bro. April 7th cannot come soon enough. But if anybody's like hoping that it'll happen this Saturday, that he'll drop the title, I hate to disappoint you, but it is not happening. LA Knight's great. I've enjoyed this run he's been having the last few months, but he is not winning the title. He is not winning it.
No, I love the spotlight that he's been put in, and he's handled it very well. But like I said, you're not gonna have him. You're not gonna have him to beat Roman, and then that's not the right time, not the right place to do it. But like I said, though, dude, like this title range has been just like, dude, he's been champion since the pandemic, Kurt. Since the pandemic, when there was no fans, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was like another lifetime ago.
I know there were certain parts of the title reign where I like, okay, I enjoyed it and I liked it, but is this year alone where I'm just like, dude, like, okay, I'm all right. I've had enough. You know what I mean? He should have dropped the belt like at WrestleMania when I was there, dude, because I was expecting it. I was expecting the fireworks, the confetti. I was expecting to be a part of that, but no,
Yeah,
no,
I'm
didn't.
over it. I'm over the title reign. I don't know what the fuck they're doing with the whole bloodline thing with like Jimmy Uso like now part of the crew again and like Roman's little bitch again. Yeah, this shit is overstaying its welcome
Yeah.
big time.
Yeah, I mean, I if I look back at his title reign, what year was his best run as champion? It was 2021.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but I don't think LA Knight wins the title. I think Roman does retain, and I think LA Knight could be the one to take the US title from Logan Paul at WrestleMania next year. I could see that going down.
okay, that's a good pick. Yeah, I've been wanting to see
I fuck with that
LA
idea.
Knight win the US title. Hell yeah, I do. I've been saying I want him to. I was saying like I don't know how long for a while that I wanted to see him win that belt. So hopefully that will happen. So the more that we talk about this stuff, the more it's like, you know what? Damn it. I wish I would go to WrestleMania next year now, but the freaking tickets sold out that damn fast. Sheesh. That fast.
But yeah, it's still 5 months away, so Roman does retain here at Crown Jewel. He'll get the big fireworks display and all that jazz. Third year in a row. He beat Brock 2 years ago. He beat Logan Paul last year. That match was fun. That Logan Paul match was fun.
Yeah.
And he's gonna beat LA Knight here. And it would be cool though at War Games if they did like a team Roman versus a team Cody thing, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
I love the idea behind that. They gotta do stuff like that. Like that's kind of like the one thing that's been like a miss on Survivor Series because they don't. You go back to the first Survivor Series, Kurt. You got to remember that was this is after WrestleMania 3, after Hogan slammed Andre, right? What was that night remembered for? What was that Survivor Series remembered for? It was Team Hogan versus Team Andre, right? So you had your top guys in a team against each other. It made it so interesting. They used to, that's why Survivor Series was a very popular grand event. But I felt like they lost its touch when they did stuff like that. I think the last time Survivor Series did a elimination match of that magnitude was when they had Team John Cena versus Team Authority back in 2014.
Yeah, with the stakes being high.
Yeah, they haven't lived up to that moniker since then, sadly.
I mean, that 2016 Team Raw versus SmackDown match was fun.
They overdid it though.
Yeah, they did. And even last year's War Games matches were both fun. But I will say a Team Roman versus Team Cody War Games match at Survivor Series in Chicago, that shit would be fucking money.
It doesn't necessarily have to be a War Games match. If you could just make it just a regular Survivor Series elimination match, I'm all for it. Just bring back that stuff that you used to do back in the day. Just the seriousness of it, the star power that you have, man. Like if you just gel that in and you just bring that back how it used to, I'm sold.
It would be cool that way, but I feel like with War Games, now that they've added it to Survivor Series and considering like this story, it would be the perfect place for a War Games match.
It doesn't have to be a War Games
Perfect.
match, dude. Like it doesn't have to be all the time.
It should be though.
It
Why the fuck not? It should be. It would be fun.
Listen, I'm not saying hating up the idea of it, but it doesn't have to be a War Games match every single time. That's like when back then we had these gimmick pay per views, like, oh, we're Hell in a Cell, and oh, Elimination Chamber. Like, it doesn't have, like, all I'm saying is that with or without the War Games, okay, bring back that tradition of you have a elimination match for Survivor Series. That was the whole point of that event. It was all because of a feud between two guys, and you had, like, I'm going to get my team, you get your team. That's how the whole thing was, how it started. Bring back that seriousness of it, that tradition of it, because I felt like it fell off. Survivor Series does not feel like it's like a big four pay-per-view anymore, like it used to be. Look, when they did War Games last year, I love that. Was perfect. That made it just great again. Prior to that, they were just doing, oh, Team Raw versus Team SmackDown for God knows how long. I got sick of it. You gotta go back to your traditional ways sometimes, man, and bring back how good it was back then. You do a Team Cody versus Team Rhodes. I mean, not a Team Cody versus Team Roman. I don't care what it is. If it's just a regular Elimination Survivor Series match or War Games, just do it.
I feel like the whole Survivor Series like elimination match, traditional one, it's still cool, but I feel like after a while it kind of like felt like less interesting because there were like less stakes, and like the whole Survivor Series event as a whole kind of evolved, as opposed to like Survivor Series matches being the main event. They would have like a title match or something, so that's why maybe they kind of became less interesting. And I feel like with the War Games thing now, adding that to it, it like brought that maybe spark back to the show that it hadn't had in years. So that's why, like, if they were going to do Roman's team against Cody's team in Survivor Series, considering the era we're in now, a War Games match would be perfect. It doesn't necessarily need it, but it would be perfect to have it for it, considering those scenarios, those factors.
That's the one thing that is like, I love Survivor Series, but it's just like, it's been prior to the War Games last year. It was really just missing its edge because I felt like they got me personally, when it comes to the big four pay per views, Rumble, Mania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, they would literally get hot on those first three pay per views. But once it came to Survivor Series, I think they got lazy as far as their creativity. They just felt like,
Yeah, like I'll even admit, watching the earlier Survivor Series, like the '87 one with Hogan and Andre, was interesting with that match. The next year was a fun show, but like it didn't have that same heat like the first one did with the Hogan and Andre stuff. And then in '89, '90, yeah, the whole concept just started to feel less interesting and kind of dragged in many cases. So that's why I said, like, after a while the concept got maybe a little outdated and less interesting, and like nowadays they're not really as interesting anymore unless there's some kind of stipulation, like the Team WWE against Team Alliance, Team Austin against Team Bischoff, etc. Like the matches itself, they're not as interesting anymore unless they have that kind of stipulation added to it.
true.
So that's your crown jewel card for this Saturday. Should be a fun show. They've had a great record of PLEs, if they call it that now, whatever, all year. And I think this show will be no less good.
That's weird how they changed it. I've been so used to calling it pay per views now.
Nah, I still call them pay per views. I could care less. But
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah,
after this
same.
show, all roads lead to the Survivor Series in Chicago,
Yes.
November 25th.
And usually that's funny. Usually Survivor Series is like in the middle of November, but yeah, this is like 4 days before my birthday. Crazy.
Yeah, right. And after Thanksgiving as opposed to before Thanksgiving. Yeah, it's weird that way too.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right.
Yeah, but WWE does have some big shows coming up next year, and one of those big shows will be the Bash in Berlin, which will take place on August 31st of 2024 at the Mercedes-Benz Arena in Berlin, Germany. And this is going to be their first major big show actually in Germany. The shit is a good look.
I know that's good. That is very good. The NFL has been doing a good job on expanding their game internationally. They've been having just, oh my god, like they've been having multiple games like in England and like Germany, Mexico, and so it's really cool that WWE is bringing an actual grand event, live event to Germany. They'll have house shows, but like not. actual live event. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the one infamous house show I know of from Germany with WWE was the one that took place in 2004 when JBL did the Nazi salute during his match. Yeah, that shit was not the
Oh shit,
best
I remember
move.
that.
Not the best move.
Nope.
But I don't think we'll be having this problem this time around. I think they've kind of learned their lesson since then.
Of course, of course.
Yeah, that WWE was a different company 20 years ago, a whole different company.
Look completely different.
Yeah, shit is like night and day. But anyway, in addition to Bash in Berlin, it's also being rumored that Backlash will be taking place in Paris.
Oh wow, I did not hear about that.
Yeah, it's not official yet, but it's more than likely gonna happen.
Crazy.
Yeah, fucking, they're gonna do a pay per view in Paris. That shit has never happened before.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, they've been breaking a lot of ground the last few years with these international shows. Like they never used to do this back in the day this often.
No, they didn't. Like there's you only be only one though, but like man, like to do it this often, that's crazy.
Yeah, I like it though. It's a different vibe. It's a different audience. Gives the pay per views a nice boost, like a nice fresh coat of paint. I fucks with that. But on a much lesser scale, SummerSlam next year in 2024, the rumored city for SummerSlam is actually going to be Cleveland, Ohio.
And the stadium where the Browns play at?
Probably where the Indians play.
Oh, baseball. Oh, they're gonna do a baseball film. Okay, I see.
It's possible one or the other, but yeah, they're gonna more than likely be in Cleveland for SummerSlam next year, first time since '96. And maybe LeBron might be retired by then. He might maybe do a cameo for one night.
Maybe over here talking about how he wants to play with his son and all that stuff, but
Yeah, I fucks with the Cleveland fan base though. Like I remember watching a 30 for 30 about the fans of Cleveland and all the bad luck the sports teams have had over the years. And it like really made me like
Mhm.
root for them hard and like really pull for them to succeed. That 30 for 30 actually came out the month before the Cavs won the title in that finals with the Warriors. Literally a month before.
Oh wow,
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. After watching that documentary, I just said to myself, damn, I want Cleveland to win the title now.
wow.
I'll admit that finals is when I became an actual fan of LeBron again because I kind of stopped like rooting for him as hard and like wasn't really as much of a fan of him anymore. Like when he went to the Heat and the way that all went down. But then like when he won the title like
Right.
this way under those circumstances, it's like it's hard to like not root for somebody like that.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, epic moment, and I'm happy that City got that, and I'm happy they're getting SummerSlam next year. Good shit.
Nice.
But in other news, last since we last spoke to you guys last week on NXT's first night of Halloween Havoc, Becky Lynch actually dropped the NXT Women's title to Lyra Valkyria in a great match actually. But Becky Lynch no longer has the belt. But it was a very productive run, I'll say. Very productive run, very good matches along the way. And Becky honestly has been on a tear pretty much ever since the beginning of September, from like the match with Trish, the cage match at Payback, and then winning the women's title, and that crazy street fight she had with Tiffany Stratton at the last NXT show, to even this match where she lost the title. Yo, she had a good ass run with that belt. She's had a good ass run these last few months.
Yeah, I think her having the belt was was good for her. It was not long. It was temporary though, but she had a good run, and I think it kind of like brought a little bit of more good exposure to NXT.
Yeah, it did. Their ratings definitely went up. I feel like Becky's stock went up a lot more in this last few month period. And I think honestly that situation where her and Trish's match was bumped from SummerSlam, it seems like that shit lit a fire under her. And I don't mind. She's been putting out some great work ever since.
I agree, and it was just I felt like it was a um, just like it was a big change. Solid change in her character, and I liked it.
Yeah, and she never won the NXT title before up until that point. So I'm glad she finally got that, and that she's had the quality matches she's had.
Yeah.
And I liked what she said on Raw Monday, like in her promo, that in the span of just 42 days, I was able to defend my title more times than Rhea Ripley has all year, and more times than Roman Reigns has all year.
Wow.
That line cut like a knife, son.
Oh.
Yeah, but there were no lies told. She has defended her title more than either one of them have.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a way, Becky's run with the NXT Women's title reminded me of John Cena's run with the US title in 2015. Not as long, but got a lot of good out of it for the time it did last.
I feel you.
Yes, but let's get into some AEW news. As last week on Dynamite, Tony Khan said he had a special gift for Sting since Sting announced his retirement the week before. And that gift that Tony Khan brought out for Sting was Ric Flair making his very first AEW appearance.
Yeah, dude. Crazy.
I heard he was supposed to debut like 2 years ago around the time the Dark Side of the Ring episode about the plane ride from Hell dropped. But since there was so much controversy surrounding that episode and it made Ric Flair look bad, they kind of like squashed that idea. But I guess since that's all like died down and kind of blown over, this was the right time. And especially considering that Sting is about to retire, I don't mind them at least having Flair come back to be a part of it in some way. I don't want to see him wrestle per se, although we might be seeing him wrestle. I like the fact that they brought Flair in for this.
That was good, man, because you got to remember, like, you think about Ric Flair's greatest rival, Sting is one of them. So that was a surprising appearance. And just to see them two hug it out, knowing that Sting's about to retire soon, and just Flair and Sting go way back is just, it's not even, it's just monumental. But just to, see him come out, make an appearance for him, that was special.
Yeah, and Flair and Sting have so much history together going back to 35 years, and specifically even on the channel TBS. That first Clash of Champions where they had that match in '88, yeah, that shit did good ratings
Wow.
against WrestleMania that same day. And that match
Ooh.
was Sting's coming out party. That's like what put Sting on the map.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and yeah, they have so much history together from that to when Sting beat Flair for the title at the Great American Bash in '90. And they wrestled each other on the very first episode of Nitro, and they were the last match on the last episode of Nitro. Yeah, these dudes go way back, so it looks like Flair is going to be a part of like Sting's retirement run in these next few months. But during their little celebration together, they were interrupted by the other scumbag of AEW, Christian Cage, who basically came out and like said, "Damn, so Tony Khan had a gift for you, Sting, and all he brought you was some gold chains, a bright ass suit, and a black liver. Damn, what kind of gift is that?"
Wow.
The coldest line Christian spit at him, and there were many that he spit at him. The coldest line was when he said, "I know that there isn't a God because if there was one, Ric Flair would have been dead 20 years ago."
Damn. Yikes.
So it looks like we're more than like, yeah, so they had that little segment. So it looks like Flair's going to be sticking around for a while, but I just don't want Flair to wrestle again. Flair can be out there. Flair can be like, in Sting's corner or whatever, but I don't need to see him wrestle again, man. I don't need to see that.
No, 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 no. But when he wrestled, that was last year, right?
That Ric Flair's final match thing, yeah, that was last year.
Yeah, just you don't need to see that. Like, be in Sting's corner. That's cool, cool. But just don't. Please don't.
But if I were Sting, I would not trust Flair so much because Flair has actually already turned on Sting twice back in the WCW days. Once in '90 when Sting was briefly a part of the Horsemen, and then in '95 when Flair begged Sting for weeks to be his tag partner against Arn Anderson and Brian Pillman. And then Sting at first didn't want to do it, but then he eventually caved. And in the match when they finally fought them at Halloween Havoc '95, Flair fucking turned on him.
Wow.
and reformed the Four Horsemen in the process. That was the Horsemen with Flair, Arn Anderson, Brian Pillman, and Chris Benoit. That was my first introduction to the Horsemen. Was that period?
Crazy.
Yeah, so I could see Flair turning on Sting again. That could definitely happen. Yeah, so Flair's in AEW, and I'm also hearing a rumor that they're gonna bring Hogan in too, possibly.
Wow.
I'm thinking it's bullshit because Tony Khan said years ago that Hogan and also his ex-wife Linda are both banned from AEW shows.
Dang.
Obviously for the racial stuff.
True. True.
Yeah, and it's funny they booed Hogan 2 weeks ago when they mentioned his name on Dynamite when Sting mentioned him in his retirement announcement.
Wow.
Yeah, but anyway, another
Uh,
AEW. Yeah, but we'll see what happens with that. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But in other news regarding AEW, Bryan Danielson suffered a broken orbital bone during a match with Andrade El Idolo a few weeks ago on Collision, and as a result of that, he's going to be out of action for the rest of the year.
Damn. Ooh, his orbital bone. Damn, dude.
The same injury the Undertaker had in '95 when he was wearing that mask. That's pretty much what happened to him.
Great. Wow.
Yeah, it sucks, man. The injuries have been piling up for him the last year.
Damn, dude. It's just I can't catch a break, man. Just I just all I gotta say, just wish the best for him for a speedy recovery.
Yeah, definitely. This is his third major injury in the last 8 months. I remember after the Iron Man match with MJF, he was really banged up, and then he broke his hand at the Forbidden Door show, and now this is
Yeah.
happening. Yo, yeah, he's really getting banged up hard the last few months, and considering all this, it's probably a good idea that he's gonna wind it down soon.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think he even said that himself a few months ago that the injuries are starting to pile up, so that's why he realizes that it's time to slow down with it. And yeah, considering this most recent one, he's right. He's definitely right.
Yeah.
But regardless, the dude is still putting on killer ass matches on a weekly basis. It's gonna suck to not see him be able to do that for a while. But I just hope he gets well soon and he recovers. And I did like his outfit for Halloween he had with Brie Bella and the kids. It was mad cute.
What did he wear?
They were all the Adams family.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, good shit. I saw a lot of cool Halloween costumes over the last few days. And the coolest one, I gotta say, the one that went the most viral was the one of Chelsea Green and Piper Niven as the Heart Foundation. Yo, they pulled that shit off perfectly.
Nice.
That one was dope. And I also like New Days as the new Judgment Day. They knocked on the Judgment Day's door dressed up like them with the purple and black, and they had and Kofi Kingston turned the styrofoam to go box into the Money in the Bank briefcase
Oh my
for
god.
his Halloween candy. And shit was mad funny, son.
Wow.
And finally, MJF defeated Kenny Omega to retain his AEW World title this past Saturday on Collision in an excellent match, amazing match. If you have not seen it, go back and watch that shit. And as a result of him retaining the title in that match, as of today, he is now the longest reigning AEW World Champion in the history of that company.
Nice. Congrats. Congrats.
Yeah, because the person who held the record previously was Kenny Omega, so it was perfect for him to have the match with him. And yo, they both bodied it. I have to say, MJF is becoming one of the workhorses of that company and the whole industry at that.
I agree, man. He's been holding that belt up pretty well, man. And this, and then the storyline he had with Adam Cole was perfect.
Yeah, but I still feel for Adam Cole. It sucks he got hurt when he did, and
Yeah.
in the middle of this great storyline, not to mention the fact that he just came back a few months ago. But yeah, I do
Yeah.
wish him a speedy recovery. But yo, props to MJF. He's had a great title reign. And I have to be honest, probably the best title reign for that belt there has been. Out of
I
all the people
agree.
who have held that belt since it's been around, I have to say, yeah, his reign has been the strongest.
I agree. And I'm just curious what's going to happen once his contract is up. So
I heard that match with Kenny Omega on Saturday may have weighed him to stay. Yeah, that was an excellent match, man. Yo, Collision has some good ass wrestling on it. I don't
It
like the
does.
night that it comes on per se, but yo, they have some quality ass matches on that show.
I agree.
Yeah, so shout out to MJF, great title reign, and he defends the title for his 1 year anniversary at Full Gear against Jay White.
Awesome. Awesome.
But he also has Samoa Joe, Will Hobbs, and also Wardlow, among other people gunning for him. So MJF is like Stone Cold Steve Austin in the '98 Royal Rumble, a marked man.
Right. He's a champion. Of course, he's gonna be a mark man.
And he's starting to grow on me as a good guy. Like I said, I can't call him the scumbag fuck anymore.
He is. I noticed that change. I noticed he's starting to grow on me differently now. So,
Yeah, maybe there's hope for Logan Paul now.
oh, I don't. I doubt that. I doubt that.
Douchebag fuck, douchebag fuck, douchebag fuck. I hope they chant that in one of his matches one day. Can you freaking believe that the NBA fined Joel Embiid $35,000 for doing the DX crotch chop? Are you
I
fucking
did not know that.
serious?
Was this recent?
Yeah, for a game on Sunday against Portland, he did it, and they fined him $35,000 for it. Whack ass shit, man. It's mad soft.
Well, well, hey, man, it's the same thing with the NFL. The NFL fined George Kittle for him wearing a T-shirt that says "Fuck Dallas." So,
Ah,
yeah,
it's
yep.
mad. That I can kind of understand because it says the F word in it actually, but this, come on, $35,000? Are you fucking serious?
I don't know. I feel like sports leagues are too soft, man, too sensitive. So,
Very sensitive. Like first the NBA is like getting in trouble for like trying to mess up the big three and sabotage the big three, and now they're pulling this bullshit.
heard about that. Yeah, I heard about
I
that.
talked about it on my other podcast, Shifting the Culture. We had a discussion about that. Yeah, they just come off very petty in these kind of scenarios. Very freaking petty.
Man,
Yeah, this is some real soft ass shit. It really is. That much money over the DX
yeah.
crotch chop, bro. But I did like what Triple H had to say. I did like what Triple H had to say about this.
What do you say?
Triple H basically sent a message to Joel Embiid saying, "Hey Joel, I know a place where you can do that all the time and everybody will love it. WrestleMania is gonna be right there in Philly."
Oh yeah, that is true. Send an invite.
Hey, I'd be down for that. Yeah, have Joel Embiid like do a cameo during WrestleMania. I fucks with that idea.
Yeah.
Maybe Eve can also make an appearance.
Oh yeah.
And the roots. How could I forget the roots?
Right.
So we'll see what they can make out of it, maybe. But yeah, still, shame on the NBA for that. Shame, 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 shame.
Right.
But before we get out of here, Jericho recently said in an interview that Batista is officially the best wrestler turned actor. He said that he's his favorite out of any of them.
Oh, that's come on now. That's no debate. He's easily the best wrestler turned actor. Easily, his work. There's certain movies I have not watched with Batista yet that I need to watch.
Yeah,
He really puts his work and his craft in it, man. And I think he wants to be like a producer or something like that later down the road. But he does a very damn good job as an actor, man. And they're in very underrated movies, very underrated roles.
yeah, you could tell that he takes it seriously. He's not just doing any movie just for the sake of doing one or because it's going to be like a big hit. Like he actually really thinks about the projects that he does, and he really cares about the whole art of making movies. And I fucks with that, and it shows in the work that he's been doing these last 10 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so shout out to Dave Batista, and also shout out to Vladamir, the super fan, whose documentary actually finally dropped this past Friday. For some reason, it was shelved for 2 years. It was supposed to come out in 2021, but for whatever reason, it didn't come out. But it just randomly dropped Friday with no publicity at all. But I have to say, it's short. It's only about 37 minutes, but it's very good. You know Vladimir, right? That super fan
Mm.
dude with the glasses. You saw him like in a whole bunch of like Madison Square Garden shows back in the day.
Yeah, just wrestling shows like throughout the '90s. Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, he's been around. He's been around for years, and yeah, like you get to like know his backstory. Like like WWE, and like just going to those shows. That's like just a major part of his life. Like he lives for that shit.
Wow. I gotta watch that.
Yeah, it's good. It's good, a little sad in some parts, but it's very good. You get to like really learn about the dude and his backstory. I never knew he was Haitian.
Hmm.
I would have never guessed that he's actually Haitian.
Wow. I would
Yeah,
never guess what was his race was anyway.
yeah. People thought he was Russian, but apparently he's actually Haitian.
Nice.
Yeah, but good documentary, very informative. It's crazy seeing how many different shows he was at and like how cool he is and how close he is with a lot of the wrestlers. Like they interviewed Hogan for this documentary, they interviewed Jeff Jarrett for this documentary, X Pac, Shawn Michaels also. Yeah, he's like really tight with most of them. Like there's like footage of him like hanging out with them backstage and like high fiving them at shows and all that. Yeah, this dude lived a good life when it comes to being a WWE fan. He really did.
Nice.
Yeah, so shout out to Vladimir. Seems like a solid dude. Feel bad. There's parts of the documentary, like I mentioned, that are sad that you'll notice. But yeah, good documentary. Definitely worth the time you'll put into watching it.
Yeah, I gotta check that out soon. Probably will check it out after this after we're done. So
Yes, but I know you got to get out of here, so we'll wrap this up. With that being said, enjoy Crown Jewel this weekend. Should be a solid show. Enjoy all the great wrestling that there is out there for you, whether it's WWE, AEW, Impact, which is actually going back to TNA now.
yes,
It will officially be TNA
I heard about
again.
that too. Crazy.
And regardless of what wrestling you prefer, whatever wrestling is your preference, just enjoy it without shitting on what somebody else likes that you may not like yourself. Because at the end of the day, it's not that deep. And like Vince
Thank you.
Russo said, I'm gonna quote him real fast. It's just wrestling, bro.
That's all it is, man. All it is.
So don't be too sensitive about wrestling. It should be fun. It should be entertaining. It should be something that you can use to get your mind off the bullshit in your life. Just enjoy wrestling. Just have fun watching wrestling. And don't worry about what the next person's doing or the next person's saying. So, in any event, until next time, for John Randall, this is Kurt Cadet, aka Conscious Kurt, for another edition of Clash of the Champions. Take care, God bless, and remember, don't be an asshole in real life or social media because that shit is
It's
for the
for the
birds.
birds.
Take care, guys. Have a good weekend.